Chapter 636. The Preferences of the Chief Leader. Qinyu, how old are you this year? How did you get so good looking? Qinyu, let's have another drink together. Burp. Qinyu, I heard you're particularly good at solving psychological problems. I've been having some issues in that area lately. Come on. Drink. Open 2 more bottles of champagne for our Qinyu. On the second floor of the Haimu Tong Club, under the bluish-purple glow, the air was thick with the scent of alcohol. Lin Chia, Yu Gong Qinghui and Xiao Jin were surrounded by guests, while many others waited nearby, clutching numbers in anticipation. Originally, the hostesses knew there was no point in taking a number. They understood that they might not get to see Qinyu or Yu Gong tonight. But even if they could only wait outside the private room, just catching a glimpse of the two would make the wait worthwhile. At worst, they could come early tomorrow and spend more money. They were more than willing. Inside the private room, Lin Chia held his wine glass, calmly surveying the guests who had drunk themselves into a stupor, their faces filled with satisfaction. He stood up and pushed open the door. "Next batch," he said flatly. His tone didn't sound like that of a host who had just downed a few bottles of alcohol. It was more akin to a surgeon who had just completed an operation, ready to begin the next round of psychological counseling. Lin Chia didn't have time to wake each of the guests individually. His schedule was busy. He simply stepped into the adjacent private room, and a wave of female cheers erupted from within. By around 4 in the morning, the Haimu Tong Club officially closed for the night. After a long night of work, Dr. Qinyu changed into more comfortable clothes and used the excuse of going out for drinks with Yu Gong Qinghui to leave the establishment, quickly splitting up to investigate the plans of the Hanchuan family. The night before dawn was cold and damp. The streets were completely devoid of pedestrians, shrouded in a thin layer of mist that veiled the neon signs lining the streets. Lin Chia, dressed in a black trench coat, avoided the surveillance cameras on the road and swiftly navigated between buildings, his mental energy sweeping broadly around him. Suddenly, Lin Chia seemed to sense something and stopped on the rooftop of a low building. He turned to look at the neon-lit street, where several wanted posters were silently scrolling across the large screen at the intersection, obscured by the mist. Criminal. Yu Gong Qinghui, Ghost, Level Wanted, Reward 10 million yen, Witness Report Reward 1 million yen. Criminal. Hirakawa Takashi, Yasha, Level Wanted, Reward 100,000 yen, Witness Report Reward 30,000 yen. Criminal. Hanchuan Shi, Ghost, Level Wanted, Reward 10 million yen, Witness Report Reward 1 million yen. Criminal. Fierce Ape, Hunting Sparrow, Level Wanted, Reward 6 million yen, Witness Report Reward 100,000 yen. As the screen rolled to the last wanted poster, a figure wearing a menacing Sun Wukong mask appeared in Lin Chia's line of sight, set against the backdrop of the blazing Yamasaki Bridge. He was holding 2 black boxes, tilting his head back toward the Yadagawa River. He's on the wanted list too? Lin Chia paused for a moment, deep in thought. From this wanted poster, it was just as he had suspected. The Pure Land organization would not share information with the Japanese police. After all, back in Yokohama, the white-robed oracle had recorded his true appearance. Yet this so-called fierce ape was merely a masked figure. The Japanese police had no idea about his identity as an intruder. To them, he was just a terrorist who had blown up a dozen cars on the bridge. If Pure Land wanted to find him, wouldn't it be more effective to hand over his appearance to the Japanese police? Why didn't they do that? Was it because they believed the Japanese police wouldn't be able to find him, making it unnecessary to inform them? Or was it that Pure Land didn't want to expose the existence of intruders to the human world? As Lin Chia pondered, he continued to search the surroundings with his mental energy, his figure disappearing into the mist. Baka. Haisha Group Building. Asakura Ken sat at a low table with a furrowed brow, absent-mindedly holding a teacup. The tea had long gone cold, but he remained oblivious, lost in thought. Boss. A young man from the underworld approached him respectfully. How's the investigation into the Hanchuan family's plans going? Asakura Ken asked, glancing at him. We've mobilized all our manpower and have been searching day and night for 2 days. We've gathered most of the information. By tonight at the latest, we should have the complete plan. Asakura Ken nodded slightly. This progress was a bit faster than he had anticipated, but under the pressure from the big boss, The entire Haisha group's members in Osaka had indeed performed exceptionally. Such efficiency had never been seen before. Truly worthy of the big boss. Thinking of Shin Qingju's gaze, Asakura Ken felt a headache coming on. Boss, what's wrong? You don't seem very happy, the young man asked, puzzled. Asakura Ken sighed deeply. In the past few days I've brought 6 or 7 batches of women for the big boss. Tall, short, fat, thin, young, mature. I've shown him all of them, but every time he just curses and leaves them all aside. I really can't figure out this big boss at all. Boss, maybe the big boss simply doesn't want women? Someone like him might always be preoccupied with the future of our Yamamoto group. Why do you insist on pushing women on him? What do you know? Asakura Ken shot him a glare. This is Osaka, our Yamamoto group's territory. The big boss personally came to relieve our worries. If we don't treat him well, how can we show our faces in the Haisha group? The other executives will be talking behind our backs. I see, the young man said, enlightened. This big boss's preferences are really hard to guess. Asakura Ken sighed again. What kind of woman do you think he actually likes? The young man pondered for a long time as if he had thought of something. He leaned closer to Asakura Ken and whispered. Boss, do you think it's possible that the big boss might not like women? Asakura Ken was taken aback and it took him a while to react, surprise flashing in his eyes. You mean the big boss might like men? Cough cough. Asakura Ken awkwardly cleared his throat, his brow furrowing slightly as he thought seriously. That does seem to be the only possibility. If that's the case, it wouldn't be surprising that our previous attempts to push women on him would annoy him. So, to treat the big boss well, we need to take him to find men. But where do we find them? Chapter 637. Invitation from the Black Kill Group. The east gradually brightened. At dawn, Lin Chia, who had completed today's search mission, arrived punctually at the entrance of the Black Wutong Club, where Yumi Seiwi had been waiting for a long time. The two pretended to have just returned from drinking, climbed the stairs, chose an empty private room to sit down, and locked the door behind them. I've discovered some issues, Yumi Seiwi said as she settled onto the sofa opposite Lin Chia. What is it? Today, while searching the territory of the Ghost Fire Society in the west, I noticed several suspicious individuals lingering outside their territory, acting furtively as if they were gathering intelligence, Yumi Seiwi said seriously. Moreover, I found that the Ghost Fire Society has been completely wiped out. It has now become a refuge for the Hanchuan family. Is someone secretly investigating the Hanchuan family's operations? Lin Chia asked in surprise. It seems so, and the other party is organized and disciplined, with clearly defined roles, unlike those small gangs that fish in troubled waters. Not a small gang. Could it be the Black Kill Group? Lin Chia frowned slightly. The Kansai region is indeed the territory of the Black Kill Group. The Hanchuan family has extended its reach here and is acting so arrogantly that the Black Kill Group cannot just sit back and take it. If it's the Black Kill Group that is secretly investigating the Hanchuan family's operations, preparing to take action against them, that's also very likely. Lin Chia pondered for a moment. If the Black Kill Group intends to act against the Hanchuan family, it could be a good thing for us. Someone is stirring up trouble in Osaka, which is certainly a good thing, but the premise is that they must not go too far. Otherwise, if Hanchuan Tsukasa uses the Wazutsukido, it might instead affect our plans. After all, the knife in Hanchuan Tsukasa's hand is not something a group of gangsters can handle. By the way, what is the name of that knife? How can it cause such massive destruction from such a distance? Lin Chia recalled the bridge-slicing knife that fell from the sky and couldn't help but ask. It's the fifth of the Wazutsukido called Black Rope. Within a 30-kilometer radius of the knife master, as long as a coordinate is given, the knife's projection can be struck down within that coordinate range, causing terrifying damage. Ayumi Seiwi paused for a moment before continuing. By the way, the ranking of the Wazutsukido is not based on strength but rather the order in which they were forged, so being ranked higher does not necessarily mean being stronger. Lin Chia nodded. So as long as he doesn't know our coordinates, Black Rope cannot pose a threat. That's right. Let's wait and see how things unfold to see how far the Black Kill Group and the Hanchuan family can go. Lin Chia looked out at the street gradually illuminated by sunlight and said slowly. Due to the business hours, the lives of the people at Black Wutong had completely flipped. They slept during the day, got up in the afternoon and prepared to open for business at night. By dusk, Xiaojin lazily walked out of his room and saw Uncle Jingjie standing by the floor-to-ceiling window, greeting him. "Good afternoon, Uncle Jingjie." Xiaojin. Uncle Jingjie stood stiffly by the window looking down, his body slightly trembling. "It seems we've gotten ourselves into trouble?" Xiaojin was taken aback. He stepped over to the window and looked down, his body jolting. He saw 4 or 5 black cars parked neatly at the entrance of the Black Wutong Club, with a dozen men in black surrounding the entrance. In front of the leading car, a sinister middle-aged man in his 50s sat on the hood, holding a cigarette in his left hand, glancing up at the building. "I am Asakura Ken, an officer of the Black Kill Group. You have 1 minute to come down and open the door, otherwise we'll help you open it." One of the burly men beside him pulled an axe from the trunk of the car, standing at the entrance with a sinister smile on his face. "Open the door. Hurry and open the door. The expensive door I renovated cannot be destroyed like this." Uncle Jingjie quickly made a decision, rushing down the stairs. Out of professional instinct, he instinctively tidied his clothes, combed his hair and smiled as he opened the door. The group of burly men surrounded the door, turning to look at Asakura Ken, waiting for his command. Asakura Ken calmly stepped forward, walking to the entrance of the Black Wutong Club. His indifferent eyes, hiding a murderous intent, locked onto Uncle Jingjie's, and he patted his shoulder, slowly speaking. "Don't panic, we're here to give you money." Asakura Ken glanced back at his subordinates, who immediately understood and opened a black box in their hands, revealing a neatly stacked box of cash. Uncle Jingjie and Xiaojin were both stunned in place. A few minutes later, in the private room, a dozen members of the Black Kill Group stood like a wall beside the door, while Asakura Ken sat alone on the large sofa in the room, calmly gazing at Uncle Jingjie and Xiaojin sitting opposite him. Uncle Jingjie was fine. After all, he was older and had weathered many storms. Faced with the head of Osaka's largest underworld organization, he remained composed, sitting upright with a warm smile typical of a professional host. In contrast, Xiaojin appeared more anxious, sitting timidly, avoiding Asakura Ken's gaze, beads of sweat forming on his forehead. "I think I've made my intentions very clear, haven't I?" Asakura Ken pushed the black box filled with cash toward Uncle Jingjie and spoke lightly. "Recently, the 2 most popular hosts in your club, that Iseu and Ayumi, are the hottest in Osaka. If you're willing to lend them to me to accompany our Black Kill Group's leader for a while, all this money will be yours. Furthermore, from now on your Black Wutong Club will be under the protection of our Black Kill Group. You won't need to pay protection fees. Anyone who dares to cause trouble in your establishment will be opposing us. I believe my sincerity is sufficient. What do you say, Manager Jingjie?" Uncle Jingjie stared at the box full of cash, falling into silence. Outside the private room, Urina yawned as she walked down the stairs step by step, noticing that the restaurant on the 2nd floor was empty, looking somewhat puzzled. Just as she was about to say something, a hand covered her mouth. Urina turned in terror, only to see Lin Chie standing beside her, extending his index finger and making a shu gesture. Recognizing Lin Chie's face, Urina immediately quieted down, blinking her eyes filled with confusion. Beside Lin Chie, Ayumi Seiwi had quietly approached the door of the private room like a ghost, listening intently to the conversation inside, her eyes slightly narrowed. Chapter 638. Definitely not a good person. A moment later, Uncle Kayasuke's voice echoed in the private room. "Your sincerity is palpable. This is indeed a price that is hard to refuse." Upon hearing this, Asakura Ken's expression softened slightly. Just as he was about to say something, Uncle Kayasuke continued. "However, I cannot make decisions for them. I am merely the owner of this establishment, and my relationship with them is simply that of employer and employee. If you wish to offer them work beyond their daily tasks, please speak with them directly. If they are willing, I certainly won't stop them." Outside the room, Lin Chie and Amamiya Haruki exchanged surprised glances. "Seems this boss is quite decent." Asakura Ken's brows furrowed slightly. Sensing Asakura Ken's displeasure, Xiaojin's back was drenched in sweat, while Uncle Kayasuke remained seated like a rock, steadfastly meeting Asakura Ken's gaze. After a long pause, Asakura Ken spoke softly. "You, the store manager, are quite principled. I have always respected those with integrity. He stood up from the sofa. So, where are those two hottest hosts from Osaka? Just as Uncle Kayasuke was about to respond, a light sound was heard as the door to the private room was pushed open. A dozen members of the Black Kill group standing at the door turned their attention to the entrance, their eyes filled with vigilance. A few had already reached into their pockets, gripping the guns concealed on their bodies. Outside the room stood two handsome young men calmly waiting. Lin Chia's gaze fell on Asakura Ken as he slowly spoke. We're going. Brother Chia, are you really going to serve? I mean, accompany the leader of the Black Kill group. After the gangsters left, Yuzuriha expressed her concern. He's a man and a gang leader at that. A male customer is still a customer. It's our job to help them with their troubles. We won't do anything unnecessary, Amamiya Haruki replied calmly. Lin Chia nodded in agreement. Of course, the two of them weren't actually going to accompany the leader of the Black Kill group for money. They accepted this task because they were interested in the Black Kill group itself. Since the Black Kill group had already begun taking action against the Hanchuan family, they must have figured out their personnel deployment given their influence in Osaka. If they could find a way to obtain this information, it would significantly reduce the time Lin Chia and Amamiya Haruki spent searching blindly. Lin Chia had heard from Amamiya Haruki that there were experts within the Black Kill group, but there was no Katsu Blade Master. Therefore, with their skills, even if they encountered trouble within the Black Kill group, they could easily escape, or even eliminate the entire Black Kill group's influence in Osaka. For them, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Yuzuriha hesitated for a moment before quietly saying, "But I'm afraid Brother Chia will be at a disadvantage. Only the most beautiful girls in the world deserve Brother Chia. Men are absolutely out of the question." Amamiya Haruki was about to offer some comfort when he suddenly realized something was off. "You're worried about Chia being at a disadvantage. What about me? For you it doesn't matter if it's a man. Don't worry, I won't get into trouble. Just stay here and wait for me to come back," Lin Chia said, patting Yuzuriha's head. Asakura Ken gave Lin Chia and Amamiya Haruki some time to prepare. After all, they were going to accompany the leader. It wouldn't do to not tidy up a bit, would it? They agreed that a car would come to pick them up in 2 hours. Lin Chia and Amamiya Haruki simply changed into new clothes, making a brief gesture. After all, they didn't plan to actually drink with the leader. Once they got into the room and knocked him out, they would begin their search. The two emerged from their respective rooms, and Amamiya Haruki gave Lin Chia a look, prompting him to follow him into the room. "Entering the Black Kill group, we will definitely be searched. What do we do about that?" Amamiya Haruki asked, pulling out the rain collapse from under the bed, frowning at Lin Chia. Lin Chia raised an eyebrow, pondering for a moment before looking into Amamiya Haruki's eyes. "Do you trust me?" 2 hours later, the two of them descended the stairs dressed in exquisite host sequin suits and got into the waiting black sedan, heading straight for the Black Kill group's headquarters. Watching the car leave, Shaojin and Yuzuriha at the door were filled with worry. "Should we call the police?" Yuzuriha furrowed her delicate brows tightly. "I still don't feel at ease about Brother Chia. They're the Black Kill group. Calling the police would be useless," Shaojin sighed. Uncle Kayasuke reached out and gently patted Yuzuriha's shoulder, his gaze fixed on the direction the vehicle had departed, reassuring her. "Don't worry, they won't get into any trouble." Half an hour later, Lin Chia and Amamiya Haruki arrived at the building's entrance, escorted inside by several members of the Black Kill group. As Amamiya Haruki had predicted, once inside the building, several burly men equipped with various devices conducted a thorough search of the two, confirming they had no items that could harm the leader before letting them go. Following the guidance of the Black Kill group members, they arrived in a spacious and comfortable suite. The moment they saw the furnishings inside, Lin Chia and Amamiya Haruki exchanged strange looks. On the marble floor lay an expensive white carpet, with a soft sofa large enough for several people to lie on quietly placed on it. In front of the sofa was a black crystal table adorned with several bottles of red wine that Lin Chia had never seen before. Opposite the sofa was a round bed draped in sheer fabric, illuminated by blue-purple lighting that created an inexplicably intimate atmosphere. Lin Chia and Amamiya Haruki exchanged glances, instantly confirming their suspicions. The leader of the Black Kill group was definitely not a good person. After bringing the two to this room, the Black Kill Group members left, locking the door behind them, leaving only the two of them inside. Once they confirmed there was no one outside, they lifted the carpet. Lin Chia bit his fingertip and quickly drew a magic circle on the marble floor beneath the carpet, preparing for any eventuality. Fortunately, they had plenty of time and Lin Chia managed to draw 4 summoning circles on the ground. After completing the magic circles, they covered the carpet again, making it impossible to detect any abnormalities from the outside. A few minutes later, footsteps were heard outside the door, as if a group of people had arrived and were discussing something. The next moment, the door to the room slowly opened. Chapter 639, Historic Meeting. Shin Qingzhu was a bit dazed. Originally, he was dozing off in his office when Asakura Ken suddenly knocked and entered, wearing an indescribably strange smile, gesturing animatedly to him, and then standing by the door respectfully making a please gesture. Shin Qingzhu felt confused, but he maintained his composure, casting a cold glance at Asakura Ken before leisurely following him. Eventually they arrived at this door. To keep the group leader's special preferences a secret, Asakura Ken had dismissed the other members of the Black Kill Group, leaving only his trusted aide, Inoue Masahiro, by his side. After hearing Asakura Ken's description of the two inside, Inoue Masahiro's expression became quite interesting. Turned out the group leader had a taste for this kind of thing. No wonder he never even glanced at all those women surrounding him before. Shin Qingzhu cast a suspicious glance at the door, momentarily unsure of what was going on. After hesitating for a moment, he reached out and opened the door. Creak. As the door swung open, bluish-purple light illuminated his face. He stared blankly at the room filled with ambiguous energy, momentarily frozen in place. In the center of the suggestive atmosphere, 2 impeccably handsome men in sequined suits sat on the sofa, smiling slightly, like 2 wolves in cowherd skins waiting for their prey to arrive. Amaya Haruki held a glass of red wine, his eyes revealing a hint of aloofness and nonchalance. Lin Chia was about to say something flattering when he caught sight of Shin Qingzhu's face, and his smile suddenly froze. Standing at the door, Shin Qingzhu, under the bluish-purple light, saw Lin Chia's face and widened his eyes in shock. He thought he was seeing things, leaning slightly forward and blinking hard. Hiss! His body trembled imperceptibly and his pupils constricted. Asakura Ken and Inoue Masahiro, who were secretly observing Shin Qingzhu's expression, exchanged glances, both wearing expressions of as expected. Look, the group leader is moved. In the past, with so many women in front of him, he wouldn't even look. But now? His eyes were almost popping out. Inoue Masahiro felt guilty. After following the group leader for so long, he hadn't even figured out the group leader's true preferences. What a dereliction of duty. This time back in Kyoto, he must help the group leader find a few good ones to accompany him every day. Shin Qingzhu snapped back to reality, stepped into the room and slammed the door shut with a bang. Click. He quickly locked the door from the inside. Outside, Asakura Ken and Inoue Masahiro were startled by the forceful slam, exchanging glances and seeing the amusement in each other's eyes. Tisuke, the group leader, is quite impatient? Amaya Haruki watched Shin Qingzhu, who was staring intently at Lin Chia, breathing heavily and looking impatient, narrowing his eyes slightly. This group leader really isn't a good person? It seems it's time to knock him out. At that moment, Lin Chia suddenly grabbed his wrist, and Amaya Haruki turned in confusion to see Lin Chia's eyes filled with excitement and joy. Amaya Haruki. I didn't expect to run into you here, Lin Chia said, looking at Shin Qingzhu, his lips involuntarily curling up, speaking in a language Amaya Haruki had never heard before. Shin Qingzhu calmed his emotions and forced a smile, saying, I didn't expect it either. I've been searching for you for a year and suddenly when I opened the door today, you appeared in front of me. By the way, why are you dressed so strangely? Oh, it's for work. Shin Qingzhu nodded, shifting his gaze to Amaya Haruki, looking at Lin Chia with confusion. This one is one of us. Lin Chia briefly introduced Amaya Haruki, who looked bewildered, glancing between Lin Chia and Shin Qingzhu, unsure of what was happening. Lin Chia switched to Japanese and introduced Shin Qingzhu to Amaya Haruki, whose expression became complex upon looking at Shin Qingzhu. The group leader of the Kansai Black Kill Group is actually an invader? How did he rise to such a high position step by step? Once the misunderstanding was cleared, the three relaxed completely, sitting on the sofa drinking and chatting. Due to the language barrier, Lin Chia suggested they communicate directly in Japanese, but to his shock, Shin Qingzhu couldn't speak Japanese either. He could only helplessly act as a translator in the middle. You can't speak Japanese. How did you become the group leader of the Black Kill group? Lin Chia asked Shin Qingzhu in surprise. Shin Qingzhu looked puzzled. What's the Black Kill group? Lin Chia paused. It's the organization you're part of. Oh, I'm not really sure about that. Shin Qingzhu briefly recounted his experiences over the past year, and Lin Chia's expression turned ghostly. Such an absurd plot, even a novel wouldn't dare to write it like this. After hearing Shin Qingzhu's account, Amaya Haruki still looked confused and asked Lin Chia, "So, how did your friend manage to become the group leader of the Black Kill group despite the language barrier?" Lin Chia pondered how to explain this, then said seriously, "It's a special method from our daxia." Amaya Haruki was taken aback, deep in thought. Daxia, is that where the invaders come from? What kind of country could possess such advanced ideas and the power to turn decay into magic? He couldn't help but feel curious about daxia. "So, you drifted here a year ago?" Lin Chia asked Shin Qingzhu. "Have you seen any other team members besides me?" Shin Qingzhu shook his head. "I've been staying in the Black Kill group, not moving around much. I haven't seen anyone else. Did they come here too?" "I wasn't too sure at first, but after seeing you I can basically confirm it," Lin Chia nodded. "After we were scattered by that mysterious white-haired person, we should have all drifted to this place. However, there seems to be a time discrepancy. I don't know if I'm the last one. If I am, then the other team members should also be somewhere in this country, just like you." Shin Qingzhu thought for a moment. "Then we need to find a way to locate them quickly. Do you have any ideas? Since you control the Black Kill group, we can certainly start from there, using your influence in the Kansai region to search for their whereabouts." "That makes sense, but there's one problem," Shin Qingzhu said seriously. "I can't speak Japanese. How do I give them orders?" A smile appeared on Lin Chia's face. "I'll teach you." Chapter 640. The Guest of the Black Kill Group. "With you here I feel much more at ease," Shin Qingzhu sighed in relief. The past 2 months of living on edge had truly worn him out. Now that he had Lin Chia, a teammate fluent in Japanese, his pressure had significantly lessened. "There's one more thing." Lin Chia briefly explained his original purpose for coming and the current situation in Osaka to Shin Qingzhu. "You want information on the Hinagawa family's deployments?" Shin Qingzhu raised an eyebrow in confusion. "I don't know if such information exists. Also, who is the Hinagawa family?" Lin Chia. "Forget it. Just cooperate with me later." Lin Chia thought for a moment. "Also, if you have some free time during the day in the next few days, come find me at the Black Wutong Club. I need to catch you up on your Japanese. Being a mute group leader isn't a long-term solution." "Okay." The three of them chatted for a while in the room, and when the time was right they opened the door and stepped out. After all, Lin Chia and Ayumi were there to accompany the group leader. If the three of them stayed in the room for less than an hour before coming out, it would be too obvious. They also finished the expensive bottle of red wine on the table and wiped away a few magic circles under the carpet. When Shin Qingzhu emerged from the room with the two hosts, the two members of the Black Kill group stationed at the door were taken aback, seemingly surprised that their time was shorter than expected. At this moment, Inoue Yu and Asakura Ken had already left. Shin Qingzhu merely glanced at the two Black Kill group members before leading Lin Chia and Ayumi Seiwi toward his office. The two members wanted to say something but were silenced by Shin Qingzhu's gaze. As they walked, they encountered many members of the Black Kill group, all of whom respectfully stopped to bow to Shin Qingzhu. They noticed the two behind him but dared not ask anything. "It seems he has quite a reputation in the Black Kill group," Ayumi Seiwi whispered to Lin Chia. "In terms of disguise, there are not many who can compare to him in this world," Lin Chia replied with a smile. The three of them arrived at Shin Qingzhu's office, locked the door, and Shin Qingzhu stepped up to his desk to start rummaging through some papers. After a moment he handed a few sheets of paper to Lin Chia. "Take a look. Is this what you need?" Lin Chia distributed the papers to Ayumi Seiwi and glanced over them. "That's right, this is it. They sent this over this morning. I didn't know what it was, so I just tossed it aside. If you need it, take it." Lin Chia didn't hesitate and directly put the papers away. When you take action, let me know. I can bring the Black Kill Group to help. Okay. Lin Chia nodded, then seemed to think of something and turned to Shin Qingzhu. Isn't the Black Kill Group the largest gang in Kansai? Don't you have any extraordinary means? Extraordinary? For example, the Wazatsukiri. Lin Chia had just mentioned the Wazatsukiri to Shin Qingzhu, who shook his head. We don't have such a thing. Lin Chia's brow furrowed slightly as he began to think seriously. They couldn't use the forbidden ruins here. Ayumi Seiwi had the Wazatsukiri and he himself had summoning magic for self-defense, but Shin Qingzhu had no means at all. If they encountered any danger, it could easily lead to trouble. Don't worry about me. The Black Kill Group has a terrifying stockpile of firearms. As long as we don't run into an absurd enemy, I can handle it. Shin Qingzhu raised his right hand, where a black ring emitted a faint glow. Moreover, I have this soul-severing blade. Lin Chia nodded. Here, forbidden items could be used normally. With a forbidden item for protection and the Black Kill Group's support, there shouldn't be too many problems. Speaking of forbidden items, a certain chubby figure flashed through Lin Chia's mind. That guy has so many high-risk forbidden items hidden away. He should be able to walk around this country without a care, right? I wonder where Bai Li Pangpang is now. There hasn't been a single word about him. Knock knock knock. A knock on the door interrupted their thoughts and the three inside turned to look. They're here, Shin Qingzhu said. He led the two into the office, where he expected to see quite a few subordinates. Considering the time, Asakura Ken should also be coming to check on the situation. Lin Chia thought for a moment. How about this? I'll teach you a phrase in Japanese and you just say it like this. A moment later, Shin Qingzhu opened the office door. Outside, Asakura Ken saw Shin Qingzhu and the two hosts standing in the office. After pondering for a moment, he asked, Group leader, why did you bring these two here? Wasn't their company enough? Shin Qingzhu shot him a cold glance, and the familiar sense of pressure surged back into Asakura Ken's heart. From now on, these two are my honored guests. They can come and go freely in all territories of the Black Kill Group. Do you understand? Shin Qingzhu's voice was not loud, but it was filled with an undeniable sense of authority. Asakura Ken was taken aback, seemingly wanting to say something, but upon seeing Shin Qingzhu's indifferent gaze, he swallowed his words. I understand. I will pass the word along. Asakura Ken replied respectfully. At this moment he felt a bit worried. The group leader wouldn't become infatuated with the beauty of these two hosts and do something irrational, would he? His original intention was just to let the group leader relax a bit. He didn't expect this move to directly bring the two hosts into the Black Kill Group. However, this could be easily managed. As long as the group leader returned to Kyoto and found him a few more decent hosts, he should quickly forget about these two. Afterward, Asakura Ken sent someone to escort Lin Chia and Ayumi Seiwi back. Shin Qingzhu wanted to follow Lin Chia back, but he still needed to oversee the Black Kill Group. After all, such a large underworld force still held significant value for both him and Lin Chia. However, he couldn't avoid going to Lin Chia for Japanese lessons every day. Thinking about starting his studies again made Shin Qingzhu feel a bit of a headache. The black sedan stopped at the entrance of the Black Wutong Club. As soon as Lin Chia and Ayumi Seiwi got out of the car, Yuzuriha ran down the stairs, flung open the door and rushed into Lin Chia's arms. Brother Chia, that perverted group leader from the Black Kill Group didn't do anything to you, right? Yuzuriha asked seriously, sniffing his scent with concern. Don't worry, we just had a drink. Lin Chia smiled and patted her head. After hesitating for a moment, he added, Yuzuriha, it's better not to call him a pervert anymore. That group leader is actually a pretty decent person. Upon hearing this, Yuzuriha's mind was struck by a bolt from the blue. It's over. Brother Chia has fallen. Chapter 641, Redevouring Weapons. Baka. The headquarters of the Oni Fire Society. Kankawa Tsukasa stood by the window, holding a glass of champagne with spherical ice cubes, gently swirling it. Behind him, Mr. Inoue was respectfully reporting on recent work. Currently, we have completely taken over the territories and businesses of all small gang forces in Osaka, including the Oni Fire Society, the Akiryu Gang, and the Paradise Society, absorbing the original members of these forces into the Kankawa family as external personnel, totaling about 300 people. Aside from the Black Killers, The entire underworld of Osaka has been unified under us. With our original manpower, we can match the Black Killers in terms of numbers in Osaka. However, the distance to Tokyo is quite far, making it difficult for us to transport our firearms, so... Firearms are not important, Kankawa Tsukasa calmly interrupted Mr. Inoue. He gently placed his hand on his waist, gripping the hilt of the black rope, and spoke softly, "Some things can never be defeated by firearms." "Yes, young master." "How is the search for the descendants of Yuzuriha Kurotetsu going?" "Our people have coordinated with the Osaka police to track the taxi that left Yamasaki Bridge that day. It ultimately stopped near Dotonbori, and the little girl lost her trace after entering the street. Our people are secretly investigating all the businesses in Dotonbori, but due to the sheer number of shops, the progress is relatively slow." Kankawa Tsukasa frowned slightly. "What about Asanagi Nanaya, who was with her? Have you found him?" "No. Since he jumped into the Yodo River, there has been no trace of him. We still don't know if he is dead or alive. His target is also that little girl, so he will definitely find a way to locate her, or perhaps he has already found her." Kankawa Tsukasa pondered for a moment. "Investigate the businesses in Dotonbori to see if there have been any unfamiliar staff members appearing recently. They might be hiding there to avoid our attention." "Understood, I will take care of it right away." Mr. Inoue turned to leave, but Kankawa Tsukasa spoke again. "There's no need to be timid in your actions. We are now the second largest violent group in Osaka. If necessary, we can employ some special methods. Feel free to mobilize the people below." "Yes." Haegwon Club. Private room. Oni Fire Society? Amaya Haruki finished reading the deployment information obtained from Shin Qingzhu, raising his eyebrows slightly. "Kankawa Tsukasa is hiding here. The Kankawa family has sent many people to Kansai. After eliminating those small gangs, their power has gradually accumulated. One Oni Fire Society definitely cannot contain them," Lin Qiao said, reaching for a pen and drawing several circles on the map. "These places are all their people, effectively surrounding the original headquarters of the Oni Fire Society, like a heavily fortified bunker. It won't be easy to sneak in unnoticed." Amaya Haruki pondered for a moment. "Can we use our professional identities to infiltrate their ranks like we did with the Black Killers? Do you think Kankawa Tsukasa would have such a hobby?" "True." Amaya Haruki paused. "So, does that mean we can only attack head-on?" "While that is one option, a direct assault would inevitably alert Kankawa Tsukasa, and he might immediately use the black rope to launch a large-scale attack." Lin Qiao contemplated for a moment. "Perhaps we can have the Black Killers break through from the front to draw their fire, and then we can infiltrate from another direction to carry out a decapitation strike." "That sounds good. When Shin Qingzhu comes for Japanese class tomorrow, let's discuss it with him." Lin Qiao stood up, about to push the door open when he suddenly seemed to remember something and turned to Amaya Haruki. "By the way, I have a question for you." "What is it?" "Do you know where the nearest military base is?" Lin Qiao added, "It should be one that has large-scale destructive weapons like cannons and missiles." Amaya Haruki. That night, after finishing his duties of accompanying drinks and providing psychological counseling, Lin Qiao stealthily left the Haegwon Club under the cover of night. Ever since he and Amaya Haruki arrived, the business at Haegwon Club had been booming, going from being ignored to becoming popular all over Osaka in less than a week. Now every night, customers lining up to drink with Lin Qiao stretched all the way to the end of the street, and wealthy women willing to spend money on him were plentiful. Lin Qiao didn't understand why he had suddenly become popular, nor did he want to know. As long as he was making money, nothing else mattered. He walked to a secluded corner, drew 2 magic circles on the ground with chalk, and infused them with mental energy, summoning both Hongyan and Mumu. In the 1, 2, 3 red light state, Lin Qiao stood still, much to Mumu's delight, as no matter how much it crawled on him, Lin Qiao wouldn't budge. Once that mysterious gaze had passed, Lin Qiao helplessly picked up Mumu, who had wrapped its face with its rear, mounted Hongyan and directly burrowed underground, disappearing from sight. After moving underground for about 10 minutes, the 3 emerged back to the surface. Under the pitch-black night sky, a massive military base stood quietly on the mountainside, with beams of light occasionally shining from the tall walls, seemingly on guard against something. So this is a military base in Japan. I wonder if the stockpile of firearms inside can satisfy Mumu's appetite? Lin Qiao thought to himself. Mumu, this war mummy, derives its power from the weapons it devours. In this environment where the forbidden ruins cannot be utilized to rapidly strengthen Mumu, it must consume more weapons. The last time Mumu ate weapons was at the Night Watchers training camp, but the quantity of firearms in that warehouse was limited, and there were no large-scale destructive weapons. After using them for so long they were nearly depleted. If this were in the Great Xia, Lin Qiao would definitely not allow Mumu to consume weapons from a military base as that would be illegal. But here in Japan, even if he were to devour all the weapons, he wouldn't feel the slightest burden. Lin Qiao extended his mental energy, covering the entire military base, and quickly located several large warehouses storing firearms. His eyes immediately lit up. These things are quite impressive. Without a second thought, Lin Qiao grabbed Hong Yan and burrowed underground again. The next time he appeared, he was already inside a weapons warehouse. For Hong Yan, the external defenses and alerts were no threat at all. Mumu looked at the large weapons lined up in front of it, swallowing hard. Chapter 642, Festival Attack Plan. Welcome to the morning news. Last night, a fire broke out at military base number 122 located in the suburbs of Osaka, suspected to be caused by an explosion of military weapons due to improper storage. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Our reporters will continue to provide updates. In other news, the annual Tenjin Festival has begun. The procession will start from Tenmangu Shrine and parade along the Okawa River. Preparations for the fireworks show have been completed and tonight will feature. Sitting by the window and eating an orange, Uncle Kayasuk raised an eyebrow at the news on the television and remarked, "In this day and age, military bases can explode? There's no war, no foreign enemies. These military bases are practically abandoned. Although the police have been maintaining these dangerous buildings, it's normal for something to go wrong. Didn't a few military bases in Hokkaido explode not long ago?" Little Jean yawned. Lin Chia, sitting across from Uncle Kayasuk, observed silently, his expression unreadable. Indeed, last night's explosion was caused by him. However, he didn't intentionally set fire to the military base. After eating several warehouses worth of weapons, Mumu overindulged and turned into a short, chubby figure. Accidentally burping, he released a small flame that ignited nearby gunpowder. Fortunately, most of the gunpowder had already been consumed. Otherwise, even with Lin Chia's physique, he wouldn't have survived such a massive explosion. Beside him, Amamiya Haruki glanced at him knowingly. It was clear that this incident was definitely related to Lin Chia. Just yesterday he had inquired about the location of the military base, and the next day, it was reported that the base had exploded. What a coincidence. Uncle Kayasuk, I finished cleaning the kitchen, Yuzurina said, walking out of the kitchen with a mop in hand, wiping the sweat from her forehead as she spoke to Uncle Kayasuk. All right, little Yuzurina, come over and take a break, Uncle Kayasuk said with a smile, patting the seat beside him. Yuzurina took off her apron and sat next to Uncle Kayasuk, letting out a long sigh. Just then, a few peeled oranges were handed to her. Have some, these oranges are quite sweet, Uncle Kayasuk said with a grin. Thank you, Uncle. Uncle Kayasuk, I heard that things have been a bit unsettled in Dotonbori these past couple of days? Little Jean seemed to recall something as he spoke. It seems some gang members have been causing trouble, one after another, as if they're looking for something. Weren't we also targeted by the gang? That Black Kill group even had Asaba and Amamiya serve the group leader. It's different this time. It seems the people coming are from Kanto. Upon hearing this, Lin Chia and Amamiya Haruki frowned simultaneously, exchanging glances that reflected their concern. The Honchuan family had already set their sights on Dotonbori, searching for Lin Chia and Yuzurina. The gangsters are just a bunch of idle lunatics. We just need to avoid provoking them. They can't just show up and cause trouble for no reason, right? Uncle Kayasuk said leisurely. As soon as he finished speaking, a dozen black cars roared into the alley, creating a scene much larger than when Asakura Ken came last time. Dozens of gang members got out of the cars, forming two lines at the entrance like a human wall. They respectfully turned around and bowed deeply, seemingly waiting for someone. A young man draped in a flowing cloud haori stepped out of a car, took a cigarette from one of his subordinates, lit it with a silver vintage lighter, and slightly raised his head to glance at the floor-to-ceiling windows on the second floor, exuding a faint air of authority. This, Uncle Kayasuk stared at the line of gangsters below, completely frozen in place. They really came? Don't panic. That person is the leader of the Black Kill Group. He's not here to cause trouble, Lin Chia reassured him. The leader of the Black Kill Group? Uncle Kayasuk became even more anxious. What's he here for? Lin Chia thought for a moment. It's nothing, he just came to see me. Uncle Kayasuk, Yuzurina, and Little Jean all turned their heads stiffly, regarding Lin Chia with strange expressions. Tears seemed to well up in Yuzurina's big eyes. Amamiya Haruki pondered for a moment and added, "And me." After a deathly silence, Uncle Kayasuk finally spoke. "Since they're here to find you, to play, let them come up. We'll open a private room, but drinks will still be charged." Shin Qingzhu led a group of people upstairs, joining Lin Chia and Amamiya Haruki in the private room. The remaining subordinates stood guard at the door, surrounding it tightly, preventing anyone from approaching. Uncle Kayasuk, Little Jean, and Yuzurina sat by the window, and Uncle Kayasuk clicked his tongue. "I just wanted them to be the top hosts, but I didn't expect their business to be so extensive." Yuzurina, stuffing oranges into her mouth, spoke with a pout. "What should we do, Uncle Kayasuk? Brother Chia is going to be wasted on cow dung." Little Jean thought for a moment. "Actually, that group leader is quite handsome, not exactly cow dung. Yeah, he's young and has charisma. If he also became a host, he would definitely be a rising star in the host world." Uncle Kayasuk sighed. Inside the private room. Help me. Help me. Find these people. Find these people. Whereabouts? Whereabouts? Yes, that's how you say it. Make sure to remember it." Lin Chia taught Shin Qingzhu this phrase in Japanese, nodding in satisfaction. Shin Qingzhu, cigarette in mouth, sighed deeply, his face showing indescribable frustration. Learning a language is really too difficult. By the way, Lin Chia seemed to remember something. "We've reviewed the deployment map we got from you. Here's my plan." Taking advantage of the break, Lin Chia explained his plan to Shin Qingzhu. The latter nodded without hesitation after hearing it. "Sounds good. When do we act?" "They've already found Dotonbori. We don't know when they'll find this place, so to prevent any long delays, we'll act tonight." "Tonight? Don't you need to open for business?" "Think of a way to make it impossible to operate tonight." "That's not a problem," Amamiya Haruki said. "For example, today's Tenjin Festival and fireworks show would be a good excuse. The festival and fireworks will make the Honchuan family let their guard down. This is the best time to strike." Lin Chia agreed with a nod. Shin Qingzhu responded, "All right, just give me a signal when you're ready to act. By the way, teach me a few more phrases in Japanese that I'll need for tonight's operation." Chapter 643. Today's Game. 2 hours later, Shin Qingzhu left the Black Wutong Club with his team. As they sat in the car, which slowly started moving, Shin Qingzhu took out a few images from his pocket and casually handed them to Jing Shoyu, who was sitting next to him. Jing Shoyu took the images and suddenly froze. "Team leader, this is..." Jing Shoyu flipped through the images, which totaled 4. One was of a man with black hair and black eyes, looking somewhat fierce, with a straight knife hanging at his waist. Another was of a stunning young girl dressed in a deep blue Han robe. The third was of a chubby man with a grotesque scar on his face, yet he appeared honest and cheerful. And the last was of a refined young man carrying a coffin on his back. "Help me find these people's whereabouts," Shin Qingzhu said. Although Jing Shoyu felt a bit puzzled, he nodded obediently. "Yes." Watching the dozen or so cars leave, Uncle Jingxia let out a sigh of relief. Seeing this group of gangsters every day, Uncle Jingxia felt his heart couldn't take it anymore. He turned to Yu Gongqinghui and Lin Chia, who had just walked out of the private room, and couldn't help but ask, "They shouldn't come often, right?" Lin Chia thought for a moment. "Not often, just once a day." Uncle Jingxia's mouth twitched, a hint of bitterness appearing in his eyes. "Then why don't you two take a nap? You've been busy since last night and haven't slept much. In a few hours, you'll have to open for business again." Uncle Jingxia glanced at the time and sighed. "Young people need to take care of their health. If you get old in this line of work, you won't be in demand anymore. Buy vitamins and supplements." Yuri leaned on the table and blinked. "Will we end up like Uncle Jingxia?" Uncle Jingxie. Don't look at me like this now. I was quite good looking when I was young, although maybe a bit worse than you Gong. Uncle Jingxie shrugged. Back then I was the top host at the Best Host Club in Shinjuku, the most famous host in Japan. Every night the women who spent money on me could line up down the street. Xiaojin yawned. Here we go again. Yuri's little face was filled with disbelief. If you were so amazing before, why did you come here to open a host club? Some unexpected things happened in between. Uncle Jingxie, actually I want to take a day off today. Lin Chia hesitated for a moment before speaking. Hearing this, Uncle Jingxie was taken aback. Take a day off? What's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Was that team leader too cough rough just now? No. Lin Chia pointed at the live broadcast of the festival on the TV and said, we just came from Yokohama, and it's our first time encountering a festival in Osaka. I want to take Yuri to see it. Yu Gongqinghui nodded in agreement. I want to see it too. The festival, huh? Uncle Jingxie looked at the lively scenes of the festival preparations on the TV, rubbing his chin thoughtfully. It really is a rare opportunity. Since that's the case, let's take a day off at the shop today. Uncle Jingxie smiled. I'll personally take you to the venue. After the fireworks festival ends, we'll come back to drink and sleep, rest a bit and open for business again tomorrow. Xiaojin, go flip the sign to closed at the door. Let's get ready to leave in the evening. Lin Chia and Yu Gongqinghui exchanged glances and nodded slightly. Now that their goal had been achieved, they would find a chance to leave after watching the fireworks festival in the evening, quietly starting tonight's attack plan. But Uncle Jingxie's voice rang out again. Lin Chia and the others turned their heads in confusion. Uncle Jingxie's gaze swept over Lin Chia, Yu Gongqinghui and Xiaojin, a smile appearing at the corners of his mouth. You three have to wear the clothes I've prepared for you tonight. Somewhere in Japan. Hashimi Shoyuta woke up from a nightmare, gasping for breath, beads of sweat forming on his forehead. He glanced at the naked fox girl beside him and couldn't help but swallow. He had another nightmare. He dreamed that he lost in today's game again and was tied to the bed by this demoness, and finally had to lean against the wall to get out. It was too terrifying. If this continued every day, his body would collapse. He absolutely couldn't lose again today. A determined look appeared in Hashimi Shuta's eyes. He opened his mouth, ready to call the fox girl to duel, but after thinking it over he closed his mouth again. He quietly put on his clothes, then rummaged through his things to find a thick black down jacket, draping it over the fox girl to cover her exposed skin, and then spoke with full energy. Demoness, get up and duel. The fox girl lying on the bed lazily yawned and sat up. Seeing the thick black down jacket on her, she was slightly taken aback. Shoyuta, what is this? Hashimi Shoyuta chuckled. Demoness, wear this and let's see how you can use your beauty to distract me. Let's have a fair duel. Fox girl. She silently rolled her eyes, put on the down jacket, got off the bed and sat across from him at the low table, speaking irritably. So, my sword master Hashimi Shoyuta, are you ready to start today's game? I'm ready. Hashimi Shuta's eyes were filled with unwavering determination. Today's game is throwing arrows. Hashimi Shoyuta was taken aback. The fox girl waved her hand lightly, and a bronze pot appeared in the corner of the room, while 6 feathered arrows appeared on the low table, 3 in front of each person. Each person has 3 arrows. Whoever hits more wins, the fox girl said with a smile, looking at Hashimi Shoyuta. Hashimi Shoyuta stared blankly at the 3 arrows in front of him, and after a moment he pouted in grievance. His eyes dimmed. Shoyuta, what's wrong? The fox girl asked. I definitely can't win this. Hashimi Shoyuta said in despair. I'm just an ordinary high school student, I can't fight or use weapons. How could I possibly win against you, a warrior princess, in this kind of game? Hashimi Shoyuta buried his head in his arms, feeling an indescribable sense of loss. Today, he wouldn't be able to help Yu Gongqinghui again. The fox girl quietly watched him and after a long time, a smile appeared at the corners of her mouth. Oh dear, Shoyuta, are you really going to give up without even trying today? You really are a coward. Hearing this, Hashimi Shoyuta suddenly lifted his head. He stared at the 3 arrows in front of him, hesitated for a moment and gritted his teeth, saying, Who said that? I won't surrender. Let's compete. He grabbed one of the arrows in front of him, seriously aimed at the bronze pot in the corner, threw it with all his might and quickly grabbed the other 2 arrows, throwing them one after the other. Chapter 644, Festival. 3 arrows flew gracefully through the air, tracing 3 arcs. 2 of them zipped past the bronze pot and struck the wall, while only 1 arrow hit the mouth of the pot but did not fall inside. Instead, it bounced off and landed on the ground. Out of the 3 arrows, 1 missed entirely. Hashimi Shoyuta lowered his head in disappointment. "It's my turn now," the fox girl said with a smile as she grabbed the 3 arrows in front of her, preparing to throw them with all her might. Achoo! Suddenly the fox girl sneezed. Her hand holding the 3 arrows trembled, causing all 3 arrows to scatter and fall to the ground several meters away from the bronze pot, not even grazing it. Hashimi Shoyuta was taken aback. While rubbing her nose, the fox girl sighed regretfully. "Oh dear, my hands are shaky today. I didn't even touch the edge of the pot." It seems that Shoyuta has won for the first time in a while. Shoyuta stood in shock for a long time before coming to his senses. Realizing he had truly won against the fox girl, he excitedly jumped up from the ground. "Haha! I really won." He turned around and ran over to the fox girl, speaking earnestly. "Today, I want a prophecy related to the descendants of Yuzuriha Kurotetsu." "Sure thing." The fox girl's eyes took on a hazy red glow. After a moment, she leaned in close to Hashimi Shuta's ear and whispered something. In the next instant, Shuta's pupils suddenly constricted. Evening. Osaka Festival. Bright yellow paper lanterns hung on both sides of the street, illuminating a corner of the dim sky. Bustling stalls lined the cobblestone path, with the aroma of food wafting through the air: grilled squid, oden, takoyaki. The vendors stood behind their carts, wearing black headbands emblazoned with the word "Strive." Their sleeves rolled up, they quickly prepared ingredients while calling out to passers-by, their voices mingling with the laughter of the crowd, creating a lively atmosphere. The festival was held beside the Yadagawa River, and across the riverbank, a grand fireworks display was about to begin. Most of the pedestrians were dressed in colorful yukatas, wearing wooden sandals, walking in pairs. While yukatas and kimonos may seem similar, kimonos are generally more formal and suitable for official occasions, whereas yukatas are more vibrant and typically worn at festivals or informal events. At that moment, pedestrians at the end of the street seemed to notice something, stopping in their tracks to point at a few people slowly approaching. At the end of the road, 3 men dressed in bright floral yukatas, each holding a red paper umbrella, were walking slowly. On the back of their yukatas, a black paper strip displayed the logo of the Black Polonia Club, with 2 lines of large white letters beneath it. "Welcome to the Black Polonia Club. Starting tomorrow, all drinks are 5% off." At the very bottom of the paper, a string of contact numbers and the address of the Black Polonia Club were densely written. Leading the group, Lin Chia wore a black and red floral yukata, holding a red umbrella, his expression extremely stiff. At this moment he wished he could find a crack in the ground to hide in, while beside him Amamiya Haruki was already contemplating how to jump into the river without causing a scene. The color scheme of this floral yukata was described as black and red, but in reality, pink was the dominant color, resembling cherry blossoms wilting in the night. Even in the bustling festival, it was eye-catching and easily drew attention. Coupled with the red umbrella that was being held despite the lack of rain, it guaranteed a 100% turnback rate. Amamiya Haruki's blue-gray yukata was no better. Meanwhile, Shaojin casually wore a white and yellow floral yukata, leisurely holding a red umbrella as he strolled down the street. Compared to the stiff and awkward Lin Chia, he looked as if he were genuinely out shopping, completely unconcerned about the gazes of others. About 50 meters behind the spotlighted trio, Uncle Jingjie, dressed in casual clothes, held Yuzuru Harina's hand as they navigated through the crowd, grinning from ear to ear. What does it mean to be a human advertisement? With this level of attention and image after tonight, the Black Polonia Club is sure to become a sensation in Kansai. Since they couldn't open for business tonight, why not take the opportunity to do some advertising while enjoying the festival? Uncle Jingjie, isn't this a bit too harsh on Chia and the others? Yuzuru Harina hesitated to ask. I think I just saw Chia's fists clenching. Shouldn't you escape Osaka overnight? Otherwise, I'm afraid you won't be able to withstand a punch from my brother. What are you talking about? Uncle Jingjie puffed out his chest, speaking confidently. What I'm doing is boosting their popularity. Just look at how many girls are staring at them along the way. There's even a large crowd following behind. And I think the clothes I picked out are quite nice. Young people should wear something flashy. It's full of energy. Uncle Jingjie looked down at Yuzuru Harina's new outfit and asked, "By the way, how do you feel about the clothes I bought for you? Are they comfortable?" "They're pretty comfortable, but..." Yuzuru Harina clutched the hem of her clothes and said softly, "They seem a bit too expensive." "Not expensive, they're all replicas. As long as they're comfortable, that's what matters." Uncle Jingjie smiled and glanced at a nearby stall. "Do you want to eat takoyaki?" "Sure. Let's go, Uncle will buy it for you." "You know, what color of sack does Uncle Jingjie like?" Lin Chia asked seriously while walking forward, turning to look at Amamiya Haruki. Amamiya Haruki thought for a moment. "I think deep red would be nice. You wouldn't be able to see the blood after a hit." "You make a good point. I'll keep an eye out for which store sells them." "Xiaojin, why are you so unresponsive?" Amamiya Haruki looked at the relaxed Xiaojin beside him. Xiaojin pondered for a moment. "You get used to it. This isn't my first time wearing these clothes. Just relax." "By the way, Xiaojin, it seems like you're not interested in being a host?" Lin Chia recalled how Xiaojin always appeared lazy during every shift and asked curiously. "You guessed it." Xiaojin smiled helplessly. "I really don't like being a host. Dealing with various customers is quite troublesome." "Then why are you still here?" Xiaojin tilted his head and thought for a moment. "Because Uncle Jingjie, he's an important person to me. He thinks I can be a host, so I became one." Lin Chia and Amamiya Haruki exchanged glances, both seeing the helplessness in each other's eyes. Another naive young man who had been tricked. The three of them strolled down half the street under the watchful eyes of the crowd. Xiaojin wandered into a figurine shop and refused to leave, leaving Lin Chia and Amamiya Haruki to continue exploring together. After being stared at for so long, Lin Chia's composure thickened, and he began to relax and observe his surroundings. What time is it now? 8:30. The fireworks festival should start in about 10 minutes. Lin Chia pondered. Calculating the time, Shin Qingzhu and the others should have started arranging the personal. After the fireworks festival ends, we'll find a reason to leave. 10 minutes later. Bang! A loud explosion echoed from across the Yadagawa River as a solitary, brilliant firework burst forth from the darkness, blooming under the night sky. Then a wave of dense fireworks followed, illuminating the entire night sky.